Here are the crypto top headlines covered in this video. Forbes launches permanent Metaverse presence featuring luxurious pool and elegant bar. Next, flood of money from crypto super PACs could fund potential challenger to Elizabeth Warren. Also, Wall Street is missing out on DeFi. Welcome to Crypto Top Headlines, where there's no clickbait thumbnails or titles, and no speeches on my opinions, just bringing crypto's news to you. We are a new channel here on YouTube, and would greatly appreciate it if you would click on the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell. It does help support the channel, so thank you in advance for doing so. Now, on to these headlines. Our first top headline, Forbes launches permanent Metaverse presence featuring luxurious pool, elegant bar. The Hong Kong-owned magazine now owns virtual real estate in the Sandbox Metaverse. Forbes, a business magazine founded in 1917, now has a distinguished permanent Web3 presence on the Sandbox Metaverse. Nestled to the west of Dracula's Castle and a few plots north of Hoddle Island within the virtual world, the new Forbes experience is currently available to the public. According to a press release, visitors will become immersed in the space's attention to detail. The crafted space includes a luxurious pool, an elegant bar, and a comprehensive gallery dedicated to celebrating the 2024 Under 30 recipients. Each element of the design has been thoughtfully curated to provide an engaging visually environment that encourages exploration and interaction. There are also QR codes sprinkled throughout the experience, which lead visitors on a scavenger hunt to uncover exclusive content. As Cointelegraph recently reported, the Sandbox recently unlocked 209 million invested asset tokens worth around $90 million. The unlocked funds were allocated for reserves, team, and advisors. The unlock came amid a flood of other releases from Avalanche, Aptos, Optimism, and Sui, worth a total of about $900 million. The Sandbox officially opened for business in November of 2023. Cointelegraph caught up with Sandbox co-founder Sebastian Bourget on the day of the launch. He explained then that now anyone can open their experience to the public and make it accessible, which will increase the amount of experience and content that people can play and discover on the platform. Sandbox has entered an increasingly competitive space. While big tech notables such as Meta and Apple vie for the top slot when it comes to metaverse hardware, companies such as Surreal Events and Somnium Space have expanded on the ideas initially conceived in pre-metaverse apps such as Second Life and on the Moo Mux Mush servers of yesteryear. Today, metaverse real estate has become increasingly attractive to corporations and brands, with everyone from the Atlanta Braves to the Ford Motor Company, and now Forbes taking up space in Web3's digital worlds. Let me pause here for a moment. If you're getting value out of this video, please click on the like and subscribe buttons as well as the notification bell. Our next top headline, flood of money from crypto super PACs could fund potential challenger to Elizabeth Warren. Crypto skeptic Elizabeth Warren suggested interest groups could spend any amount of money needed to attempt to stop her and Representative Katie Porter's Senate runs. Senator Elizabeth Warren suggested potential attacks on hers and Representative Katie Porter's 2024 campaigns could be funded by corporate money connected to crypto supporters. In an interview with Pod Save America, released on February 18th, United States President Barack Obama's former speechwriter, Jon Favreau, questioned Senator Warren on the Republican crypto enthusiast John Deaton, who was considering challenging the Massachusetts senator for her seat in the 2024 election. Senator Warren, an outspoken skeptic, who has often linked digital assets with illicit activities, suggested corporates could attempt to spend any amount of money needed to back challengers to her and Representative Porter. Your push to regulate crypto has seemingly attracted a potential challenger to you in your Senate race, said Favreau. That could mean a flood of money from crypto super PACs or political action committees, like the one attacking Katie Porter here in California's Senate race. Favreau was likely referring to Fairshake, a super PAC backed by crypto firms including Ripple and Coinbase, which released an ad spot in February claiming Representative Porter took campaign contributions from Big Pharma, Big Oil, and the big bank executives. Andrew Sheeler of the Sacramento Bee rated the ad as mostly false for misrepresenting companies that had donated to Porter's campaign as significant institutions in the industry. Corporate special interests are spending millions to distort my record, said Representative Porter in a February 14th X post. According to Senator Warren, neither her campaign nor Porter's accepted corporate PAC money and relied on small donations in the race for 2 U.S. Senate seats. In the interview, she defended her push to pass the Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act, or DAAML, claiming that it was not so, that crypto was too complicated to regulate. There are all these gaps in the system when it comes to crypto, and the consequence of that is that crypto has become the place to go for the drug traffickers, the human traffickers, the rogue nations, the terrorists, said the Massachusetts senator. There are some crypto folks who have giant buckets of money to spend, and so they hire this lobbying army to go out against DAAML. Election day for the 2024 candidates in the U.S. will be on November 5th, with control of the House of Representatives, Senate, and presidency potentially able to go to either Republicans or Democrats. Cointelegraph reached out to Fairshake for comment but did not receive a response at the time of publication. Our next top headline, Wall Street is missing out on DeFi. If DeFi can just figure out how to improve both security and compliance, nothing would stop traditional finance from entering the game. Decentralized finance is a game that anyone can play. Hosted on a level playing field, it's a sport that doesn't discriminate. Rich or poor, professional or amateur, consumer or institution, it makes no difference. Given the rich opportunities available within DeFi, attractive yields, liquidity, global accessibility, and round-the-clock availability, it's worth pondering what's preventing bigger fish from entering, particularly those with the technical means and the money to extract the most value out of decentralized finance, institutions. What's keeping TradFi away? In the wake of the first Bitcoin ETF, institutional interest in crypto is riding high. Major players like BlackRock are eyeing asset tokenization, further legitimizing crypto as an asset class. Real-world assets, or RWAs, have become a multi-billion-dollar industry, and ambitious Wall Street players like JP Morgan are experimenting with blockchain, albeit on private networks. All of which raises the question, what's preventing traditional finance from doing DeFi? After all, trading firms have a mandate to make money, and goodness knows there's enough of it swirling around in decentralized finance to turn wealthy investors into on-chain whales. DeFi activities such as lending, collateralization, and staking could potentially all be countenanced by forward-thinking institutions. Unfortunately, traditional finance's hands are tied on account of two major concerns, security and compliance. Identifying these impediments is easy. Solving them will be harder, but is nevertheless achievable. As history has shown, where there's a will, there's a way. Before we can set about fixing these problems, first we must acknowledge the extent to which they're keeping the great traditional finance crossover on ice. It all starts with security. How secure is secure enough? Layer 1 blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum are highly secure. The protocols built upon them, not so much. When you introduce smart contracts, you introduce attack vectors, and that's where things start to go wrong. $1.7 billion in crypto was stolen last year, much of it through smart contract vulnerabilities, while lower than 2022's record of $3.7 billion, the number of incidents in 2023 was actually higher. That's not progress, nor is it a ringing endorsement of DeFi. Of course, no system, be it blockchain or legacy, is 100% secure. If enterprising attackers can swipe 200 million Hong Kong dollars through elaborate deepfakes, it's churlish to take shots at DeFi for the occasional loss. But that's the problem. DeFi losses are anything but rare. Each year, around 3% of DeFi TVL is stolen, a level that's simply unacceptable for traditional finance firms contemplating entering the space. Then there's the risk of fatal user error to factor in, like accidentally sending funds to the wrong address. Crypto has no back button, and while DeFi users will say this is a feature, not a bug, traditional finance will differ. What needs to change? Since smart contract risk is impossible to eliminate, even with multiple audits, there needs to be other ways to mitigate this. Traditional finance players need access to blockchains with fail-safes baked in at the protocol level, insurance, and optional private transactions. But won't this ruin the entire value proposition of open finance? Not necessarily. It's possible to legitimize DeFi without lobotomizing it. One of the most powerful features of blockchain is the freedom for anyone to build upon it without requiring permission to do so. This essential characteristic will be retained on any chain that incorporates institutional safeguards. We need to talk about compliance. We've already identified the two elephants in the room preventing traditional finance from barging in. The first is security, and the second, no less gargantuan, is compliance. This is about Know Your Customer, or KYC, of course, but that's not all. Implementing verification at wallet or protocol level is a relatively simple affair, and a number of DeFi projects are currently pursuing this. But even with user verification built in, there are other compliance concerns when trading on a public network. Take the potential BlackRock-sponsored Ethereum ETF by way of example. If approved, the wallet addresses of trading firms will be visible, and it probably won't take long before some prankster dusts them with crypto from an OFAC-sanctioned address. Despite having proactively done anything wrong, a company could fall afoul of financial regulators simply for having black market money on its balance sheet. There are various solutions to this problem, and not all of them are technical in nature. Better regulations would go a long way towards distinguishing legitimate financial crime from on-chain tomfoolery. Until then, institutions are compelled to err on the side of caution given the potential risks of being held liable for non-solicited funds. Ultimately, the only way to prevent anonymous internet trolls from holding companies hostage is to enforce KYC at protocol level, ensuring that the source of every transaction is known. But more importantly, verification is the only way for traditional finance to trade with counterparties. Without it, they're stuck to transacting with a handful of known entities on private chains, which adds scant benefits compared to using traditional infrastructure. Finally, compliance doesn't just apply to blockchain's users. It can also apply to the assets that are tradable on it. With particular tokens like RWAs, it may be necessary to encode transfer restrictions to ensure that the parties trading them are permitted to do so. This will permit different entities, like consumers and accredited investors, to use the same chain but for different purposes. gradually then suddenly. Just as it took time for the first Bitcoin ETF to receive approval, the infrastructure for institutions to use DeFi at scale requires time and ingenuity. This isn't just a job for Web3 builders. Incidentally, traditional finance also needs to exit the walled garden that is private chains. DeFi players must refine the tools that will support compliant and secure money markets, while traditional finance needs to be bold, working with regulators to iron out pain points, and actively exploring blockchain solutions that can serve the world, not just a handful of accredited investors. Rome wasn't built in a day, the Sistine Chapel wasn't painted in a weekend, and traditional finance isn't about to descend on DeFi overnight. But behind the scenes, at the protocol level, real progress should be made in coding the permissions, protections, and privacy tech for institutions to arrive. So this concludes our top headlines. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to click on the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell. Also, leave your thoughts in the comments and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you all for watching Crypto Top Headlines, bringing crypto's news to you.